Hi, and welcome back to the Peru Sisters podcast. My name is Kiki.
And my name is Gia. And we're going to start out with a couple of updates. So this morning when Kiki gave me a call and said, did you hear about the hearing that's going to be on Wednesday? And I hadn't, because I've been busy with a bunch of other things. So I said, let me look into it. So I went on to the case, the Brian Koberger case, and I found there are 4 new documents that have come to fruition since the beginning of February. The first document, I'm going to share it. Hold on, let me see if I can do that.
Let's see.
Let me see.
And I just want to make sure, because everybody hearing Gia okay with that microphone, because we did a mic test beforehand, and I thought that sounded really clear. So just want to make sure everything's coming through in the live chat. Any feedback we appreciate. Let's see. And while we're doing that, let me go throw a banner up here. So while Gia is doing that, I want to remind you folks, we're going to be covering these hearings live. So they're slated to start at 1 o'clock on the 28th, which Central Time, which is what we go by, is going to be 4 p.m. So please
Eastern Time. We're on Eastern Time.
Eastern Time, yeah.
Yeah. Can you see that document? I think you need to pull it up.
There we go. And I'm
okay. Okay, so this is the objection to defendant's motion to change the venue and a request for a scheduling order. So this came from the state of Ohio, and they object to the defendant's motion to change the venue, and they say it's premature. It's too early to be requesting this. So the state requests that this court set a trial date, a briefing schedule for the defendant's motion, a hearing date for the motion to be heard, and a deadline for supporting memoranda, affidavits, and witness disclosures sufficiently in advance of hearing so that the parties can adequately prepare. So they're not only saying that it's premature, they're saying it's without sufficient basis. The defendant has not provided the court with adequate information to conclude that Latah County jury could not fairly and impartially decide defendant's case. So in Idaho, a motion for a change of venue is within the discretion of the trial court. That's what's called stare decisis, right? It's on a previously reported opinion of the court, in this case, State versus Wynn, and that means they can use this previous case in order to persuade, and the court would have to go by this previous order in State versus Wynn. Idaho's appellate courts look to several factors when determining whether a trial court exercised its discretion in deciding a motion to change venue, including affidavits indicating prejudice or an absence of prejudice in the community, and testimony of the jurors at a voir dire as to whether they had formed an opinion of the defendant's guilt or innocence based on adverse pretrial publicity. So that means the jurors, when they're getting ready to have jury selection, both sides can ask questions, and it's kind of in open court, and the jurors answer. And so that's the time when they'd be asking them if, have you already formed an opinion? Do you already think that he's guilty? Do you already think he's innocent? That kind of thing. And that's how they weed out jurors. Other factors for consideration are whether a defendant challenged for cause any individual jurors, the nature of the pretrial publicity about the case, which is very important here, right? And the duration of time between the publicity and the trial itself. The Idaho Supreme Court has also explained that publicity by itself does not require a change of venue. And I think that's really important in this case, because they've been talking about how sensationalized it is, and that the mere thought of just that it's been so sensationalized should require a change of venue. And they're saying the Idaho Supreme Court has already ruled on this, and that isn't the case. There has to be more extenuating circumstances. And so because publicity is not a standalone reason for the court to change the venue, This court should decline to decide defendant's motion until a trial date is set and the court has heard adequate facts to enable the court to make the determination. That's what the state's asking. So the state respectfully requests that this court set a trial date, set a hearing date for defendant's motion to change venue, which they did because it's Wednesday, the 28th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, issue deadlines for supporting memoranda and affidavits, and set a deadline for witness disclosures reasonably in advance of the hearing. So that was the first document that was filed. Kitty, do you have any questions, Kiki, about that before I move on to the next motion?
No, thank you. I appreciate that you broke it down this way. Thank you.
Okay. So then, shortly after that, that was filed on the late morning or a little before 11 o'clock on the 8th. At 4:40, a motion was filed by the state requesting clarification of the sealed order for disclosure of the IGG information and protection order. So Brian Kohlberger is coming forward and he's saying, he wants a clarification on the previous order. The court's sealed order states that no individual on the family tree may be contacted by the defense or any agent of the defense without prior authorization from the court after a showing as to why such contact is necessary and material to the preparation of the defense. So the defense, as part of the necessary work, has previously identified family members and work is being conducted. The defense does not expect to use the protected materials to identify people to contact without further order of the court. However, the defense needs to continue its investigation with witnesses and resources generated from sources outside of the protected materials without worry the plain language of the protective order could be interpreted to prevent that work. So the defense is just seeking clarification on that order, and we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so this is the state's response to the defendant's motion to allow certain experts and investigators protected access to view the IGG materials, and the motion requesting clarification of the sealed order for disclosure of IGG information and protection order. Okay, so now comes the state of Idaho. And this is regarding the expansion of the protection order to include Dr. Leah Larkin, Vicka Barlow, and Stephen Mercer. And the state is saying, we don't object to that. We don't object to those 3 individuals having access to the IGG. Regarding the expansion of the protection order to include unnamed criminal investigators, unfettered access to the IGG materials, the state objects. So what they're saying is, they don't want you to just have this blanket statement where you're saying anybody who's considered a criminal investigator is going to have access to this material however they like and whoever they are. So they're objecting to that. They're saying, at a minimum, individuals who will have access to any of the IGG materials should be named. Further, defense has failed to make an adequate showing as to why such individuals need the information for the preparation of the defense. Defendant states that the information is requested to investigate how and when Mr. Kohlberger was identified as a suspect. That the state's saying this information can be obtained from the TUI letter from the FBI to the state dated November 28, 2023. The state objects to the balance of the IGG materials being provided to the criminal investigators for the reasons that were previously articulated by the court in the protection order itself. So the state respectfully submits that the appropriate course of action, so they're telling the judge, this is how you need to be ruling. For the court to amend the sealed order for disclosure of IGG information and protection order to allow Dr. Leah Larkin, Vicka Barlow, and Stephen Mercer access to the IGG materials disclosed to the defense. Not a problem. The criminal investigators seeking access to the information should be named in the order, and those investigators should only be allowed access to the letter written on the 28th provided to the defense. They don't want them to have unfettered access to all of the information that the other professionals have. So the state is requesting the following language for an amended protective order. And what it's doing here is it's trying to make the job of the judge a little easier by saying, here, I'm giving you the language to put in. And what they're asking for it to say is, the court orders that only defense counsel, Ann Taylor, Jay Lodgson, and Alyssa Massif, defendant Brian Koberger, and Dr. Leah Larkin, Becca Barlow, and Stephen Mercer may view the materials provided. Then, whoever they name as the criminal investigators may view the November 28th, 2023 letter contained within the materials. Any further dissemination of the materials or the information contained within the materials must first be approved by the court after an adequate showing by the defense as to why such information is necessary and material to the preparation of the defense. Additionally, no individual learned solely through the review of the materials shall be contacted by the defense or any agent of the defense without prior authorization from the court after an adequate showing as to why such contact is necessary and material to the preparation of the defense. So these were the motions, the responses, and this lastly is the order, very short. Order setting the hearing. Based on the defendant's motions, the court orders the following. 1. A hearing on the above motions is set for February 28th, 2024 at 1 p.m. Pacific time, which will be 4 p.m. Eastern time. We will be streaming that live. This hearing will be open to the public, will be streamed on the court's YouTube channel. As to scheduling, counsel shall be prepared to address scheduling, both a briefing scheduling and an oral argument on defendant's motion for change of venue, a discovery cutoff deadline, expert disclosure deadlines, deadlines for filing any pretrial motions, such as motions to suppress or motions in limine, and dates for a trial. So what this is telling me is the judge is saying, you all need to be prepared because at this hearing, we're going to start setting some deadlines. We're going to start saying this is the cutoff date for providing discovery. And they may even set the trial date on Wednesday. So we'll see.
So they said, the cutoff date for discovery is, did you just say that's going to be determined along with the hearing date?
Yep.
Did I
yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they're going to do, like a scheduling order. So that's usually outlining the entire case. Like when will, when will all of the hearings be held and scheduled? When is discovery due? When is there going to be maybe a settlement type of conference? When are they going to, all of that. And then lastly, it'll have trial dates.
Okay. There was a question somebody just asked, not to stop your presentation, but Tina.
I'm done, yeah.
Oh, okay. Tina wanted to know, why is it too early to ask for a change of venue?
Well, they're saying like you can't possibly know because first of all, we don't even know when the trial date is, right? And so some of the factors that they consider is the publicity. What's the period of time between when all this publicity was taking place in the trial? So you don't really know what the effect is going to have until you get to the trial date. So they're just saying it's a little premature to be even discussing this. We need to have a trial date first. And they're saying they haven't done anything other than to say this should be changed because of the publicity. And what the response from the state came back to say is the Supreme Court has already said publicity in of itself is not a reason to change venue.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know there was stare decisis on that. Hold on one second.
Well, anytime there's,
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, anytime there's a reported opinion of the court and a case that was decided, that's stare decisis, and then you can use those cases to support your argument and in this case, in Brian Koberger's trial. So that's what they're saying. And if you point out to a judge, look, there was this case already been decided, right? It's already done, res judicata and all that, then they have to use that to come to their conclusion in whatever they're deciding. So they need to use statutes and they need to use prior cases that have been decided.
Can you just clear one thing up for me, possibly? What's the difference between precedence and stare decisis?
Nothing.
Okay.
Not really. Like stare decisis means, so, and it depends who's saying it, right? Stare decisis is a precedent set by the court, right? But you can't just say like, so there's also unreported opinions. So let's say that the case comes through, the judge writes it all up, they decide this because of this, but it's an unreported opinion. You can't use that. You can only use reported opinions
Interesting.
in your arguments.
This is going to be one of the most interesting hearings we've seen yet. We're actually going to hear some things. I'm trying to balance the chat just to make sure I'm not missing any questions.
It's okay. Yeah, I haven't been looking at the chat.
When I'm doing my next presentation, I think you can, if you see anything you want me to display on the screen, just star it and I can see what has a star next to it. So thank you for filling us in, Gia. I would never really be able to break that down that way. I really appreciate it. And thank you for highlighting it too. It makes a huge difference. That was the best presentation I think we've done with those. So I appreciate the time you took to set all of that up. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. That was interesting.
It is really interesting. Like I said, I think it's going to be the first hearing that we're really going to hear some things or feel some progress.
I am really hoping that they nail down a trial date. I think Judge is really looking to get this on the docket.
Yeah.
I think he's doing his due diligence because he didn't jump right in and make a ruling. He's really thinking about it, but he wants a trial date set.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a question that you could touch base on, but Thinkers Think said he said, yeah, I thought I was asking, is it what's the reason? But can you think of any reasons why LU would be hiding the 911 call other than just maybe playing their cards close?
I just think because of the gag order. I don't know that they would have had they not been, they fall under the gag order. Hi, Jeff H.
Hi, Jeff.
Good to see you as always.
Yes, good to see you as always. And I actually am going to show Gia that Josco video that you emailed to me in the last live stream. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Tina just said, I'm happy that he is giving the defense a chance at the evidence.
With the evidence.
And they did have a hard time getting it. And I think that also clears one thing up. He's going to set that date for the cutoff date for discovery, which means they're going to have to give everything to the defense.
Well, and I think they have been giving everything, look, I'm not going to guess at what the state's strategy is. And maybe it is a strategy that they drag their feet providing discovery and they provide it at the last minute. That does happen. I mean, lawyers do that all the time. However, what can't happen, they can't hold back anything and then introduce it at court if they haven't provided it. That's not allowed. That only happens on TV shows, right? Dun dun dun. Like no, you can't do that. You have to have given adequate notice to the other side of anything that you're going to present, including witnesses and documents and everything. So
yeah. Behind the 911 call because I believe there's actually two made that morning. One from Kaylee too. Interest. The 911 call will. Let's see.
Oh, someone said they can't hear us. True crime cult, but I don't hear anyone else saying that. So
yeah, again, Gia and I were testing this mic. It might appear differently to us than it does on your end because obviously we're not on the receiving end of the live stream. So if you are having any trouble with Gia's mic, just let us know. She can switch it off and do something different. It sounded good to me, so that's why I wanted to use it.
We were testing a number. I'm having some audio issues today, but Jeff, last night I took the 5 passes the Elantra makes, in my opinion, past the Linda Lane camera to compare the engine sounds back to back. I'm pretty convinced this is the same car engine. Oh, okay. And all 5 passes.
You should put it online because Cluminati has stated that she went online. Like most cars, you can find an example of that engine noise. A lot. The 2016 Elantra has nothing. She had to find an alternative example. So it's a good thing to have online. I think a lot of people would be interested in those noises.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Let's see. Yeah. Well, they said Hunter.
Yeah.
That could be Ethan's brother, but we were assuming it was the other Hunter who was friends with Ethan.
Jeff's saying he can email you the video clip if you would like.
I will take that email. I wish you hadn't said it on the live stream though. No, because I'm scared somebody's going to do a spoof email and send it to me. But yes, go ahead. I'll.
Yeah, but Jeff knows your email.
Right, and I'm looking at the time.
You don't have to say.
Well, here's the thing: is that Robert, who was on my last live stream, he was doing a live stream, and one of his mods said, "Oh, I'm going to email something to you." Someone listening, I don't know how they do it. They must use an app or something. They mimicked the email address and sent a virus to him, fried his whole laptop. And Bubbly had the same thing happen to her or similar. So we're just cautious. But if you send it now, I'll take a chance. And one of the reasons I really wanted Gia to come on today is because I have a new investigative theory and I wanted to present it to her. So essentially, from what I've learned from working in the true crime community, an investigative theory is you come up with a theory that fits everything and then you build off of it until you find something that either proves it wrong or brings you in a new direction. So over the this 7 months, I've developed my investigative theory. So I'd like to present it to Gia and the live chat, and you guys can give me feedback. So I was going to do that next if nobody has more questions about the proceedings on Wednesday coming up. Looks good. All right. Here we go. So we're going to start with this. So before I begin, everything I say is speculation. It is guessing, and Brian Kohlberger is innocent until proven guilty. This is an investigative theory. I'm using it to do my research, and I'm going to present this to you now, and I'd like to know your thoughts. So this is the crime as I see it now. Brian Kohlberger was going to DeSales University, and during that time, he had a habit of frequenting local pubs. In these local pubs, it is reported that he would hit on women, and if they rejected him, he would react in anger. This is documented by Annie Elise Channel and several other people that were close to BK back in the day. So I'm setting up a profile. Now, then he establishes himself over at WASU, Washington State University, where he is teaching and also continuing his education. So we're going to assume that his behavior continued. We have nothing to believe that it didn't. In fact, I have sources telling me that he actually frequented a bar called the Cougar Cottage, or as everyone knows it, who's a local, the Coug. Now, the Coug is a 3-minute drive from BK's house. The Coug is also an extremely popular bar for University of Idaho. Many students at the University of Idaho also frequent the Coug, and my sources also tell me that Brian used to frequent the Coug. So, we do not know the exact date that Brian actually moved to WASU. We know several different document transactions, but we don't know the date. We do know that Steve Gonzalez told us BK had been there for a year before these things happened. So going off of that, I have based my investigative theory. So you can see in the upper left-hand corner, there is a picture of Kaylee. Right next to Kaylee is her sorority address and name, which she has written on the wall. With that sorority address, it can tell an exact location of where Kaylee is living and where her sorority house is located. And there it is. That's at the Coug, where Brian used to frequent. And there's Maddie in the upper right-hand corner. And we know that both these girls were at the Coug on Maddie's 21st birthday. My sources tell me BK was also there, and that was the night. Again, speculation and unconfirmed sources. That was 12 weeks before the crime happened. So we have the escalation as I see it. We don't have, we know that BK was in the area 12 documented times per the PCA. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you see a picture, one of many pictures of the 1122 King Road home, which was clearly seen from different angles driving by. This house was set up nearly perfectly for someone who wants to look in the windows. So I'm assuming the 12 times he came back was voyeurism. Now in the next picture, we see the owner of the vape shop who says that on 5 or 6 occasions, Maddie and her friends came in. It wasn't a one-off thing, that they were telling him they were being followed by a stalkers, particularly Maddie. The next picture we see was posted on Insta, on Kaylee's Insta account, and it was the day of the unalivings. It was the day of the murders, and she was showing her location. Kaylee hadn't been there in several days, so the anomaly is Kaylee being in town. So there she is showing her location. Now, if you zoom down to the fourth box, we have a picture of Maddie and Kaylee. Now, this isn't their social media account. This is somebody else's Be Real account. They took a picture of them at the corner club. And then you can see on the next picture, you have the boys on the other end of the Be Real account. And then the next photo is what I'm alleging is Kaylee taking her own Be Real photo, sharing her exact location. And even if this isn't Kaylee taking a photo of herself on Be Real, she is being streamed live on Twitch right now at the Grub Truck. So we all know what happens following this photo of Kaylee at the Grub Truck. Now, the next day, 911 was called right before noon. And you can see in the upper left-hand corner, there's a picture of Kaylee Gonzalez's LinkedIn account. Her sister was driving from LA up to Idaho to be with family because she had heard of Kaylee's death. And all of a sudden she got an alert on her phone as she was driving, and Kaylee's LinkedIn went live. Mind you, this is 12 hours after the 911 call, okay? And after it went live, the account was deleted. Now, Kaylee's sister contacted Moscow PD. She asked them, why did you delete Kaylee's account? Moscow PD said, we didn't delete it. That would be illegal for us. Now, following the murders, a social media account called Papa Rogers began posting in a Facebook forum, the largest Facebook forum that was networking about the Idaho 4. Papa Rogers, my sources tell me that Papa Rogers was reported to the FBI by fellow bloggers. And when they traced the IP address, that's when they found BK. It wasn't the Pullman police. It wasn't the Moscow police. It was the FBI that got BK's name and reported it. And then on the day that BK was arrested, Papa Rogers' account went silent. Now, Papa Rogers' account did go live again. It was 4 months later. It went live, and then all its posts were visible, and then it was deleted again. So I propose that if the FBI was involved, we've seen that pattern before with Kaylee Gonzalez's LinkedIn account on the day of the murders. So I'm proposing that was the FBI. And everything else that I am doing on this channel is building off of this investigative theory. So Gia, your thoughts?
Well, I was just like trying to read everything in the chat and listen to. I think that's sorry, is this better? I think that's a well thought out theory, and it makes a lot of sense to me. Obviously, like, we're gonna be like, haha, once the trial starts, but based on what we know now, I think that's very interesting, and it makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. And I find it interesting, and I don't know, I don't think you just said this, but I think you showed me yesterday a little bit, was where you showed, because people were saying that the Papa Roger account is still going on, right? Or after he got arrested, but you found.
Gia, your mic just cut out. I can't hear you. I want to know what you're talking about. Thank you. I still can't hear you, Gia. I'm reading through. Okay. So I'd love to know your thoughts in the chat. I know I've kind of put a lot in there, and it's a lot to digest. Some of it I'm asking you to, I can't say for sure if my sources are correct or not, but I have to use some discernment, and I have to start building at some place some sort of theory. And I'd love to see if you have other evidence you'd want to present to me. Gio, what's going on? Switch it to that mic that had the feedback canceling.
I got it.
Okay, good.
I don't know what happened. Is that better?
Yeah, I want a mic so bad now.
I'll send you one. I have another one. This is just like an extra one. I have some work to do on my audio issues. But anyway, I didn't realize you couldn't hear me, so I don't even remember what I was saying.
Well, what you were saying is a lot of people, the buzz is, well, okay, so Papa Roger, let's go back up a second.
Oh, I know what I was saying. I'm sorry, because I'm like, ADHD. Okay, you were showing me something that proved that as soon as he was arrested, nothing came from that Papa Rogers account again. Mm-hmm. And people were saying that it did, but you actually found proof that it did not. So I think that really lends itself to the fact that it was BK, right? That account. And didn't you say, like, he almost couldn't help himself as he was providing information through that account to the FBI, almost in a way that, like, somebody does that's bragging about something. They can't help it. They want people to know they did it. It's how BTK got caught, right? Bind, torture, kill. You know who he is, right?
Yeah, so, and I saw how he got caught, and you're 100% right.
Yeah, because his ego just, he couldn't help himself. He had to send proof with the CDs, and then they traced him back based on the CD that he sent in to, I don't know if it was the paper or what, or the law enforcement, I can't remember, but he led to his own demise.
I remember I really recently heard that, because I've never really dove into him, but I did hear about his arrest, and it was interesting. He says to the police, well, would you be able to track me if I put it on a floppy disk and sent it to you? And he goes, if that's true, put an ad in the paper and da-da-da-da. So the police were like, okay, well, lied to him. And they said, no, we couldn't. And when he was arrested, it took a while, but when he finally realized he wasn't getting out of it, they had him. He goes, the first thing he says is, why did you guys lie to me? As if the police were getting off on it too. Like, it was obvious he was enjoying it, and he thought that it was, I don't know. I know I'm trying to go along the sentiments that you were just saying.
Right.
How to interject himself into the case.
Just saying, could the reappearance of Papa Rogers' account be a fake? I think so, if it reappeared, obviously. Couldn't we compare the avatar graphic of the soldier to see if it's exactly the same inside the circle? A fake page might be off of it. Yeah, good. I mean, definitely.
Well, could, but what I can do one better, which is I found a creator who was monitoring Papa Rogers back then. And I have a clip. He gave his opinion because he's still convinced Papa Rogers was BK, because the Papa Rogers stopped posting the day that BK got arrested, okay? And we know that somebody, not Moscow or Pullman, made Kaylee's LinkedIn go live and then was deleted. And so if it's not a hacker, it has to be law.
Someone asked in the chat, because you were talking and I was just, let me go back. Could LinkedIn, Jeff, could LinkedIn have taken down Kaylee's account as regular procedure in a murder case? Could it have taken a second for Olivia's phone to catch up? Oh, Olivia, okay. Maybe phone showed cache memory of the page.
Well,
I don't
okay,
know, fair.
that's a good question, but my understanding, and I could be mistaken, my understanding after watching Chronicles of Olivia is that Olivia, Kaylee's sister, went into investigative mode immediately. And yes, I understand it could be a cache, but she got an alert because she was alerted when Kaylee's accounts. Had an alert on her phone for Kaylee's accounts, so she got
someone signed in. Yeah, someone signed into her account.
And so I understand. Yeah, maybe she could. We can't speak for her. We don't know if she was tech savvy, but we're gonna go with the assumption that what she's telling us is true. And yeah, I mean, it sounded like she knew what she was talking about. And even more so, when it went live, she was driving and she took the screenshot. And when she pulled over, the count was deactivated.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two things that happened. It wasn't necessarily pulling up the last cache, and maybe LinkedIn could have taken it down. We don't know what their policy is. I've never heard of that type of policy, but might be there. We don't,
Law enforcement could have asked LinkedIn to do that, and
Moscow PD said it. She emailed Moscow PD immediately and she said, "Why did you take down my sister's account?" And they go, "We couldn't do that. That would be illegal." So
but did they ask LinkedIn to? That's what I'm asking. And would they have told her?
Like she posed the question incorrectly to them. Like she could have said, "Did you contact LinkedIn to take it down?"
Right. Did you take it down? No, we didn't. That would be illegal. It's not illegal for us to ask LinkedIn to take it down.
That's a good point.
And LinkedIn might not have to take it down. However, I find in situations like this, then why wouldn't they? Right? I mean, LinkedIn isn't a sensational. It's not a tabloid. It's business. And they might acquiesce to a request of something like that. So we don't know.
Hold on a second. How close was the last post of Papa Gerard's account? I don't know, but if you want,
it was the same day.
Yeah, it was the same day. I don't know what time, but I want to show this other creator. He gets to the point pretty quick, and I thought that people would have questions about this, so I just wanted to bring a little bit of receipts to it to someone who was studying it back then. Just bear with me. I'm pulling it up.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. View full playlist. Oh, please tell me I saved it. I freaking text it to myself.
Yeah. Yes. Tabby Cat, while you're doing that, is asking, she said, I don't have LinkedIn. Does it do like Facebook and show you're online? Yes. You can tell if someone's in active status or not. I'm sure you can hide that too, just like you can on other things where you don't want to show yourself as active. You probably don't have to, but.
Okay, I got it saved. Let's get this. Let's get this show on the road.
I know. Mike O'Donnell says BTK sounds like a Burger King value meal. No respect. I get it. I always think that too.
Thanks for being here, Leslie. Welcome back. So happy to have Robert and Rockchalk here too. Thank you for being here, you guys. All right, and Jeff. Let's see. Idaho 4. Here we go, you guys.
The Papa Roger account went live on Facebook again yesterday. Well, actually late last night. It was very interesting how I found out. Okay. Tanya and I were actually backstage after our live, and we were just kind of chatting about everything. And usually at that point, when I'm doing that, I will check out my social media accounts and just kind of see what's going on. I'll pull up Twitter and see what goes on in my feed. Well, in mid-sentence, I pull up my Twitter feed and I say, "Oh my God." And this was from the Nerdy Addict. And I said, "Oh my God." And Tanya's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Check this out." I'm like, Nerdy Addict is reporting that the Papa Roger Facebook account has been reactivated. And I was like, wow. So all the old posts, if you look here, started to appear again in the Idaho case discussion group. And I was like, wow, what is going on? Like, this is crazy. So I said, I'm going to look into this. I'm going to do a little bit of research. And, come to find out through my research, it's now gone. So it popped up for a little bit and then went silent again, which is really interesting. So, couple things to this. And I dropped, like I said, I dropped a video today. Can speculate a little bit here. Can maybe solidify something here. I'm just going to throw it out there for basic conversation in the chat. Could be a couple things. Let's say that I definitely don't think it's Kohberger. I don't think he's like, activating accounts from prison. Now we know that he has an tablet, but he's not going to have access to like Facebook and stuff like that. So let's just squash that, because if Papa Roger is Brian Kohberger, which a lot of people think it was, and there's been some controversy about it, of course, he's definitely not reactivating an account. There's no way that you could do that. Or this just was a tremendous troll back in the day that maybe some of their speculation or their inquiries that they were saying just happened to be true, or I don't know. Maybe it was a law enforcement agent. Maybe it was Brian Kohberger. Could it be a possibility that law enforcement activated that account, or Ann Taylor activated that account, or the state activated that account to look into maybe some private messages that were going on, or maybe some of the activity on that profile? Now, I know once this activated, it popped down. There was a lot of fake accounts that were popping up. I mean, the internet was going crazy, absolutely crazy. But what I want to do is, you all know what I like to do first is I like to go back. So we're going to go back and look at how this all started. And then I have I'll pull up some of the discussion groups that this was popping up in, and people will go on berserk, and we can read through some of the funny posts that were going on. I thought that would be great. But let's go back into some history, because I always love to go back and look at things and kind of explain it and go up to current day. You guys know I love to do that. So this article was back from February 23rd, 2023. And I'll read through this a little bit. So, in plain sight, inside wild Papa Roger's theory, as sleuths claim Idaho suspect Brian Kohberger was posting about murders before the arrest. So, internet sleuths have posted a wild theory that the Idaho murder suspect may have been posting about his alleged crimes online before his arrest. 28-year-old PhD student was charged with the murders of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Now, a unverified theory has spread that Kohberger may have been posting about the murders under a pseudonym. I think that's what it is. However, there is no evidence confirmed by police to provide this. A Facebook user known as Papa Rogers and a Reddit poster, Inside Looking, raised concerns
check the
when
private
they
chat.
started creating posts that seemed to have detailed knowledge of the case. Claims from the posters were also revealed to be true, leading to rumors that one or both of the accounts were used by the alleged killer. Papa Rogers was part of the University of Idaho case discussion group on Facebook. However, the account was removed after posting some really creepy stuff, said the group administrator, Kristen Cameron. Papa Rogers shared an eerie post on November 30th that read, "Of the evidence released, the murder weapon has been consistent as a large fixed blade knife. This leads me to believe they found the sheath. This evidence was released prior to the autopsies." At some point, Papa Roger got into an argument about the murders with other user who asked, "Why do you communicate like a serial killer?" Soon, Papa Rogers was removed from the page, with Cameron explaining, "Papa Rogers was never a mod or an admin in this group. He was on here and arguably insistently with people and said some really creepy stuff. We removed Papa Rogers at 7:10 the evening before Brian's arrest. He created a group page and had 6 people in it. No one has heard from Papa Rogers since his arrest, she added. Another strange internet user was Inside Looking from Reddit, who posted on the Moscow Murder subreddit, which I think has been closed down since now. The user was able to correctly identify the importance of the white Hyundai Elantra near the crime scene and shoe prints that likely belonged to the suspect before the information was confirmed by authorities. Speculation: killer parked behind the house, approached property through the tree line, entered sliding glass door, left it open, inside looking posted. Committed murders and exited sliding door. One knife, according to the coroner's statement. Time of the murder, approximately 3:20 a.m. to 3:40 a.m., according to a car fleeing the scene on camera at on Highway 8, approximately 3:45 a.m. Vehicle left skid marks upon exit. In response, another Reddit user posted, "Dude is solving his own crime. Psycho." Inside Looking's Reddit profile had a picture that initially showed a masked man dressed in black and holding a flashlight. However, police haven't been able to connect the Papa Roger and Inside Looking accounts to Kohberger. So that's what we have. That's a little bit of the background here. And you guys always know I like to go back and look at history before we, move forward in presentations. Let's look at some other accounts that were posting about the the Papa Roger video that Papa Roger account that was popping up. So Menace to Sobriety, Papa Roger's account has been reactivated on Facebook and his posts are showing up again. And here were some of the posts from 2022, as we see here in the University of Idaho murder case discussion group. Papa Roger on December 22nd, 2022, posted, day 39, the killer is not in the victim's immediate circle. Okay, that's kind of creepy and eerie now that we found out all that detail. And then on November 30th, 2022, which I believe was the last post that they allowed, of the evidence released, the murder weapon has been consistent with a large fixed blade knife. This leads me to believe they found the sheath. This evidence was released prior to autopsies. So really crazy stuff. Okay, and then I checked in with Carrie Rawson because she's usually pretty good on this stuff right away. Carrie said, regarding Papa Roger, the original is back up as of 7/30/23, and then she put the account number there. If you click on that account number, that link is now dead. It doesn't work anymore. The hoax account that came shortly after Papa Roger was booted and then gives the account number there. So, I think the account was reactivated. And whatever that purpose was, and here's the account. If you go to that link now, it's dead. It's a dead link. You can't get in there. You can't look.
So I think that he kind of echoed my thoughts, which was the only thing I have to compare that to is what happened on Kaylee's account. And I would imagine it's law enforcement. I would hope law enforcement was that quickly looking in their social media. I mean, we know the first 48 hours are the most critical. So, yeah, I'm just going to go on that. I still trust my source who told me the Papa Rogers thing, but I don't have anything to verify that with. So, yeah. Anyway,
I trust your source too, and I actually think, just listening to what he said just now, I hadn't heard it before, getting into that account and reactivating it would be very easy for a hacker.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I'm not a hacker, so it wouldn't be easy for me. I don't understand how any of that works. However, I run other groups, and hackers infiltrate left and right, and it's crazy how quickly even bots can infiltrate, like Facebook groups and different things like that, probably Reddit as well. But I would suspect that one of these hackers that's interested in the case might have tried to get in through the back door and reactivate the account and made some postings, because that makes sense. If I'm hearing him correctly, he was saying when it was reactivated, you could see some of the old information, so that it looked like it was actually the real account, right?
Yeah.
So a hacker could probably do that. That's my guess. He's definitely not doing it from prison. I mean,
well, that actually brings up another, like, so I thought of two things when you were saying that. Is one of the things that came up to me last time when that guy said, well, could law enforcement be looking for direct messages? What came to me is, okay, so if they could have a printout of the account's activity, but let's just say post crime, if he had an accomplice, or if there was more than one person, they might try to reach out to that account, and it wouldn't necessarily be on the account activity, so maybe they were looking for that. And then the other thing that came to me is, he says, we know BK has a tablet in prison. Do you think BK could leave messages on our YouTube?
No.
You think he could
No,
comment?
here's the, I don't think that they're allowed to just have access to, I would suspect that they have definite firewalls, and just like my son in school, right? He can't get on to anything he wants. His tablet that he has is very controlled as to what he can access and what he can't.
Yeah.
So I think they would put parameters on someone like anyone in prison that you just can't, especially he's on trial for the death penalty. They're not going to let him just unfettered access to the outside world and commenting on, getting into accounts and what have you. I would suspect that his access to anything on that tablet is very limited and very controlled.
I hope so. And I want to just, Mermanda said she's been talking about 4chan in the private chat. I just want to echo your sentiments. I do feel the 4chan posts, I don't know if what they say in them is real, but I do feel, I've always had this kind of gut feeling that that was the unaliver trying to throw somebody off the path. Yeah, so I agree.
Prior to the arrest.
Yeah,
I agree. I think the Papa Rogers account was BK before he was arrested.
Yeah, and I want to stop right there, Jeff. So he cited some of the eerie connections, but I'm going to tell you what really strikes me in Papa Rogers' comments is when he talks about the high side of the house. Even when we've had people go in person, like I watched Thou Shalt Not Kill on his channel, Rory, and when he went to evaluate the house, he was even saying, this isn't the best escape exit. I mean, nobody would have guessed that the high side of the house is where the killer exited, but Papa Rogers did. And he said there's probably evidence there like blood. So if there was, that would have been a tip right there, because I mean, honestly, there's so many other places that you could have escaped pretty easily. So I would say that one post by Papa Rogers, like, I betcha if I had to be a guessing woman, it would be that was the one that tipped the somebody. I don't know, that maybe FBI verified this is a little bit more we need to look into. Our chat probably talking too much.
No, you're not. Never. No such thing. No such thing as talking too much.
Please.
Says the person voted most talkative in high school.
With the mic.
Huh?
You got the mic too, I was saying. I can't wait to get my mic.
This is just a cheapy one.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm like reading them and not reading them out loud. I keep forgetting. Could give the login info for a groupie. This is a really good point, and I'm sure that they're looking at all of this. Exactly. And then there's the incel theory that I've heard Evil CJ's channel talking a lot about. There were rumors that there could have been a group of incels. Now, again, this is wild speculation, and I know I'm not trying to besmirch his name, but I am talking about angles that were made mainstream back at the beginning of the case. could there be other people? I've also heard, and this means nothing too, that Enon Harsh was in the same gaming community. So I shouldn't have brought his name into this, but I recently read that, which makes me think, did he not Enon leaving his name out, but could there have been other people in the gaming community? Again, wild speculation, just throwing it out there for a conversation for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
There was activity on that account after BK's arrest. That's what we were just saying. So there was none. It stopped the day he was arrested. However, the last post was the day he was arrested. No posts were made, but it went active in March for like a very brief amount of time, about enough time to deactivate it. And we're inferring that we think that was a good time.
Yeah, and you know what? Ann Taylor could have done it.
Ann Taylor, yeah.
If she's like, hey, look, we need to shut these things down, and to the person who said maybe he gave a groupie the login information, he probably gave it to his attorneys, and then the paralegals went to work and shut down anything that he had on social media. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think that that's just as plausible as the FBI doing it, if not more, so because they probably have done the research that they needed to do. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
I think that was around the time of one of getting ready for his first arraignment. So Tina says, I was listening to someone go over the comments made in different things, and this person was comparing words to Enon, and he was nailing it. So I've heard a lot of people say that too, that they think Enon is Papa Rogers. We'll look into that. I don't want to dismiss anything, and it could only...
We will find out, won't we?
Yeah, I that's definitely on the books. I just, I don't know enough about Enon to even, I don't even know.
I don't. Yeah, I don't either. That's why I'm like, oh, that's my answer when I don't. Well, we'll see, won't we? So anyway, what's the next thing we were going to talk about? Dun, dun,
All right, so it has come time for us to discuss Josco. So we're going to discuss two things. The first thing is, I believe Josco is who he says he is, and that he had inside information. He just knew too much before the autopsies and the PCA came out to not know something about the case. Do I think it's BK? Not really, but you guys can decide for yourself. We've got the video, we've got the audio. Thank you to Jeff H for providing it. Hold on. Oh gosh, how do I do this? Okay, here we go. Josco.
Hey there, to those of you interested in hearing this report, I just want to let you know that I'm a relative of someone inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that, because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor, as I don't have firsthand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victims' fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory. As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100% true, at least in regard to the fact that they hadn't fallen to sleep in the same bed. One of the victim's wounds were deep gouges that were delivered with extremely aggressive force, so much so that the victim's liver and lungs were destroyed. Here's the theory that's happening. They definitely think it was a man because of the force of the wounds. The person must have been very strong. They think the man came into the room after doing what they did on the second floor. They went upstairs. The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim. The second victim awoke and tried to run. They believe that the man possibly grabbed her, and she screamed loudly, apparently. The man then harmed her, And the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which I apologize for how, I know it's disturbing, but anyway, how do we know that she screamed? Because 3 individuals reported hearing a scream between 3:45 and 4 o'clock. That's why the police have such a specific time frame as to when the murders occurred. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the authorities weren't called the next day until late in the morning, yet they had a very specific time frame when the murder happened. They think the scream is why. And after reviewing video files from the neighborhood, they reviewed security cameras in the area, and they have an audio file where I haven't heard it, but I was told that you can clearly hear a loud scream from a female. That scream was recorded at exactly 3:38 a.m. Neighbors say they didn't call the police because they said there's often loud noise coming from the house. I was told that there are parties there all the time. Again, I don't know if that's true, but it's what I was told. The weapon used was a long serrated-edged hunting knife with a fixed blade. The weapon had not been in the house. The person brought it with them and took it when they left. The 2 victims were on the same bed, not side by side. One victim was found on top of the other. The reason is that the one tried to escape and was grabbed, harmed, and then shoved and fell on top of her friend. That is why there's a lot of blood mixtures on this at the scene. They're also desperately looking for this white car. The reason being is that it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station. I don't even know what that is, but anyway, it could be wrong. I was just told it was seen speeding by an A&W gas station / hangout at 3:45. Now, if the scream was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame, but it is possible that the person left immediately and rushed and was seen speeding by. Also, the scream may have been what caused the person to quickly leave. That scream could have been what saved the other 2 roommates' lives. The person knew that they might be detected, so they sped away. Again, this is all just rumor. Take it for what it is. I just pray for these young people. I hope they rest in peace and that their families can find peace after this horrible crime. And I hope that the person who committed it can be brought to justice. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So, Gio, you heard the voice. You heard what he had to say. Do you think that he sounds like the killer?
No.
I don't either. But
I don't. But
I think what he had to say. I think he had knowledge of this crime. Like he said those things before the autopsy is released. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
With that. Hold on. The only thing I know is that the police have called the FBI in certain circumstances, not sure of them, but know that they have to do so. It makes sense they were on those posts very quickly. Agreed. First 48 hours is the most critical. True.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last thing that they want is a prisoner on trial for murder to be able to.
Exactly.
But I wondered. I'll tell you that much. Could give yes, and I think I showed this comment before, and we know he had a groupie within the first. It was like the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, of course they all do. It's one of those phenomenons, right? Like the prison brides and
This whole psychological
pen pals. Yeah.
Wait, was there activity on the account after? There wasn't posts, there wasn't the activity, yes. The answer is yes, but the activity to specify was the account going active and deleting itself.
There weren't any more posts, that's what you're saying.
The last
Someone
post,
just someone went in signed in and then deactivated the account, which my guess would be it's Ann Taylor's team.
I'm swaying that way too. But
I mean, that would be the first thing that the defense attorney would do, is shut down all access to social media and email, everything, cut him off.
I can't agree more. And just to be very clear, to answer the other part of the question, before that, the last activity was made on the day he was arrested. So Papa Roger posted and BK gets arrested.
Okay, so someone said, Julianne said, yes, there was a post after the arrest of Josco.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Josco posted. So I think that kind of shows that BK wasn't Josco. Wait, any way to trace the image of the profile pic? Kind of odd. It looks like a different guy.
Yeah, no, it looks just like the guy he's saying. It looks just like Papa Rogers looks like an aged Brian Kohlberger. But someone said that is actually a real photo. So I was like, we need to look into that and see. Did he just find a likeness to himself if it's him? Allegedly it's him, right? Because it looks like it could be his, like, grandfather.
Yeah, and so my impression that it was an AI generated photo. Like he took a photo of himself, had AI.
Yeah.
But so other people, it was a real 1920s soldier. So,
right, that's what someone said. So I thought we could look into that at some point.
Yeah, and if anyone has insight on that too, drop it in the chat so that we can, or comment on this video so that we can show people. We want people to have information. And about tracing the profile pic, I mean, I don't know if you can trace I just have screenshots of everything. So law enforcement certainly could.
We'll work on it. We'll figure out something.
Rory's back. That's good. All right.
Jeff
So
H. I just was going to read Jeff's comment. Have you seen the web page where the soldier comes from? It's created by an artist named Shayu. I may have spelled his name wrong. That's how I think you pronounce that. So I might be saying it wrong.
hold on.
Usually X is Shayu.
I can't even see. What time was that?
He just said it 1:23.
Oh, I'm not even.
Scroll all the way down.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a peek. I'm going to see if I can find it for you guys. Bear with me.
I think DoorDash arrived at 4:05. Isn't that right, Kiki? Someone's asking. Think or Stink asked, what time did DoorDash arrive again? I think it was 4:05.
I believe it was 4:05 too, but I could be mixing that up with
I don't think so. We just talked about that.
With the Linda Lane first time BK showed up on Papa Rogers. Nothing is coming right up. If somebody has a link to Zayu, please leave it in the live chat. We'd love to show the audience. I mean, we're just trying to give you guys information. We're not trying to lead you any direction, except for my investigative theory. And then Tabby Cat says, an AI. She had the same impression I did.
Yeah, but it looks like AI. I mean, it looks like him. So it's like a caricature of him. It definitely could be AI. But I mean, I just wanted to see if there was really that old 1920s image. And, you know, he could have taken the 1920s image and combined it with his photo to create a meshed kind of look, like a filter in a way.
No, I thought that's exactly what he did. That was my impression.
Yeah.
It's making me think of something funny. I actually wrote it in my notes because it was kind of just a little bit of humor I heard last night when I was reading the comments. But I don't know if they meant it, excuse me, to be funny. But they were saying, we were doing a lot of voice comparisons in my last live stream. Jeff was there. Bubbly Waters was there. We were looking at Josco. And everyone's saying how the vape guy looks a little sus to them. And somebody said the vape guy, I know,
You
And
know
so-
what? That vape guy was just trying to get he was so excited to have his little 2 minutes of fame. He was so excited. Like, I just, when you look at behavior and everything, which I look at a lot, body language, the only thing I could tell for him was like, he thought, I'm so excited. I feel kind of important. They're asking me these questions. It's really true what I'm saying. Kept repeating himself. He really wanted to be interviewed, and it was cute, I thought, in a way. Other than, I don't know what that gives us in terms of information. That
question of that's good. Well, somebody said that the vape shop guy sounds just like Dot, and I'm going to be honest. I did my own little comparison last night, and he does. I'm not saying I know we know who Dot is and everything, but
do
we really know who Braden is?
Do we?
I don't know. Well, Gia and I have reached out. Let's just talk about Dot for a second.
Okay.
So I'd like to have Gia as my witness. When I started talking about Dot on this channel, I wanted to debunk Dot, and I wanted to show my idea was I was going to show a side-by-side of Braden and his TikTok account and one of his TikToks and his face, and then the little clip that Lively Riley showed us. And I went back to find the original TikToks and I couldn't, and I could only find them on Lively Riley's channel. And then I had Gia reach out to Brat Nortonson. And what did you find when you reached out to Brat?
She didn't respond to me.
Yep.
It's
all private.
No, I emailed and I sent a request to, but no, nothing. No.
Yeah. And it's all private. So basically there's gatekeepers for the information. And if I had to guess, we have to assume what they're telling us is true. Everybody is on the up and up, and we trust them. But, they're like the gatekeepers of the information. They decided to cancel the character, which is kind of sad for Dylan because she might have had an airtight defamation lawsuit against that person if everybody hadn't canceled them off the internet.
Okay, sorry. Jeff just said, I just emailed you a screen grab of the Papa Rogers soldier. It's spelled Yiju.
Here we go, you guys. Hold on, I gotta get it. I gotta do my little workaround here. Okay, got it, Jeff. And I'm forwarding it to my computer.
He said he sent a funny picture too, but you might not want to show that one.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to show the second. No, I'm not showing that second picture. Don't start beef on this channel.
Send it to me.
I'll send it to Gia. If he was in the live chat, I'd show it. I'm forwarding that to you, Gia. You'll know who it is. Oops.
So which email? The booking?
I'll send it to booking. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Let's include. And then there's Gia. Okay, sent it. Good. Now I'm going to. Yep. Almost there, guys. What? Oh, whoops. Didn't go. Bye. Okay. I don't know why.
What are you looking for?
It's not showing up. Did you get it in your inbox? Can you
hang on? I'm gonna look. I'm just opening it.
I got it. I've got so many weird pictures.
Oh, here it is.
Okay, here we go.
I don't see the second picture.
You don't see the side by side?
No, I just see a screenshot of Papa Rogers.
Hold on.
I don't think you sent me both.
Okay, hold on. I'll check in a second. Why am I?
But that's all right. I don't want to waste everyone's time. Like,
No, I got it. No, I'm still on. It's not you, it's me. Okay, here we go. We got Papa Roger. Downloads. This makes no sense to me. I was on an Apple computer for basically the entire
today?
No, and now I'm trying to get used to a PC and like.
Oh yeah. I'm an Apple person, but my regular job, I have to use PC.
Downloads. Good grief. You know, I can you share it, because I am not able to figure this out.
Just a screenshot of Papa Rogers?
It says,
yeah. Hold on. Hold on.
the last thing is people wanted to know the link to Papa Rogers. So I was thinking, I know you don't have.
I just put it in there. So it's backstage.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
That's the only thing I got.
So this comes. Let me take Jeff's picture down here. Hold on. And
Okay, and I'm just going to read what it says under. It says,
Yeah.
Yiju, what could be worse than a war? It is hard to even imagine. Fighting for your country is a courageous and heroic act. However, a possibility to die for someone's interests does not sound that good. There were 2 world wars already, and I think nobody wants another one to happen. Nevertheless, sometimes there are some factors which you cannot impact. Wai Zhu made a photorealistic portrait of an unknown old soldier, and here's what he wanted to achieve. In this piece, I tried to achieve photograph effect and to learn some lighting and hair techniques. The reference is some image from the net. Okay.
Okay.
And it was Photoshopped and different things, so. Who knows? I mean, quite honestly, it's the profile pic he picked for his Papa Rogers account, whoever Papa Rogers may be.
But I mean, I'm looking at that. That's definitely looks like it's an oil painting to me. It's beautiful, and I did not know that it came from an artist. So, yeah, that makes the comparison.
Yeah, but it says software was used, so it looks like that was generated. But
it was.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if there was an original photograph that stemmed from, that they used to create the AI from. So it does look eerily like Brian Koberger, like some of his characteristics.
Well, it gives us a jumping off point. At least we now know the artist that we can at least see. Is there differences? Is there alterations?
Jeff just said, I just found the original webpage where that Papa Rogers soldier picture comes from. I'll email you the link. Okay.
Wait, can you drop it in the live chat?
You're asking Jeff to drop it in the live chat?
Are you in your email?
Huh?
I was sharing your page.
Oh.
I'll edit that out.
You shared my page.
Yeah, I was sharing your page for the.
Oh, okay. I don't think I can put a link in the live chat, he's saying.
Oh.
That's all right.
Email it to Kiki.
Thank you, though. Email it anyway. We'll look at it.
Email it to Gia, yeah, because Gia is like not tethered. Like I'm not tethered to my. Gia has her computer right in front of her.
Oh yeah, I have 3 monitors, so it's a little easier for me to pull stuff up. But you want to what's the no, the email booking.
I've got it. I'm forwarding it to myself. It's I got it.
Okay.
Kiki.
Oh,
Okay.
only mods can. We need to make Jeff a mod.
All right, Jeff, you should be a mod anyway, officially. We like everybody to express themselves. So I am so hesitant to block people and make mods. Like I really do. As long as you're not denigrating other people, we do want you to express yourself in the live chat. Be kind. All right, I'm pulling that up, you guys. It came through. All right, I've got the page. And let me share this with you. And if it's okay, while I'm pulling this up, Gia, I know you don't have all afternoon. You're going to have to be leaving.
I have somebody here.
Okay.
I'm going to just mute myself for a second. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just show you this. So this is the artist. And, oh, no. It's a it's an AI generator.
So I need to scoot.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to the last thing. I'm going to take this off the screen then so I can stop sharing. So the last thing, since we're going to be cutting this brief, at least we gave you guys some information, some new things to look at. Jeff, thank you for, as always, really nice, insightful stuff. What I'd like to end with is I had some people here asking if I had a link to the Papa Rogers post because they wanted to see them for their selves. So what I'm going to do is I will drop a link. I'll leave the creator who did go through that he not only recorded all the Papa Rogers, but he clicked on the comments and the links, what is still available, and he shared them with us. It's a 10-minute video. I'm going to play it for you guys so that you have it somewhere, you know where to reference it. And then afterwards, when I come back and edit this video, I'll drop a link to the creator so you guys can all visit and support him too. So with that said, Gia, my co-producer, thank you for being here today. Thanks for your legal analysis. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I love you, Nico.
Yeah, he's upstairs.
And
I didn't interrupt us today.
What did you say?
I said Nico didn't interrupt us today.
Nico
didn't interrupt us today.
Nico can do whatever he wants.
I know.
All right. On Kiki's run. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to play that Papa Rogers for you guys. Gia, we'll see you at the next live.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys. So let me just get a little screensaver up and bear with me. Okay. So this video has no sound, so I'm going to play my own music for it. Uh-oh, my computer's frozen. Not good. that's going to be it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I know you could be anywhere this Sunday afternoon, so I appreciate that you spent it with Gia and I hope to see you on Wednesday for our live coverage of the upcoming hearing. Please leave your thoughts about my investigative theory. I'd love to build on what you say and bounce my ideas off of you. So until then, peace, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks.